Now, most of you have read something concerning the yogic ideas about the spinal chakras. This row of lotus-petaled wheels of light, representing presumably important ganglia or plexi along the spinal cord, that through these there moves a mysterious power which is called the serpent power, and that this power, rising from the base of the spine, ascending through the various small nervous threads of the autonomic system, results in the activation of these chakras, and that by the activation of these chakras, certain internal areas of consciousness are opened or are intensified, carrying with them degrees of extra or supersensory perception and power. The next point, perhaps, that we will want to mention or think about is the relationship between these chakras and the seals of the book of Revelation. The 7 seals of Revelation certainly bear a striking symbolic content, for in each case, as the seal is opened, a vision or apocalyptical experience is unfolded. Also, we have the 7 churches in Asia, described in the epistles of Paul. And we have a series of septenaries, the 7 days of creation, the 7 primary elements of the alchemical transmutation, the 7 metals and the 7 priceless gems. We have many different septenaries of deities. And we also realize that in the Yoga Chakra system, the deities are imposed upon these chakras to create a vast complex of interrelated symbols. Let us bear one thing in mind, however, and that is that no one has ever seen any of these chakras physically. No one has ever been able to demonstrate conclusively that the symbolic forms in which they are presented to us have actually an equivalent in any extrasensory level of our substance or nature. We do know, however, that these forms were created for a purpose, and that this purpose was undoubtedly and inevitably that each one of these so-called chakra forms is a mandala. That is, it is a meditation wheel. The purpose of the shape of the chakra is therefore to cause it to become a symbol of meditation. And it is meditation upon the symbol and the meaning of that symbol and the gradual internal experience of that symbol which is believed and held to be responsible for the opening of that particular chakra. Now this takes the next point into consideration. Where are the chakras? The chakras were held to be in juxtaposition to a series of important centers of the human spine. That these chakras are therefore related intimately with certain gangliated areas, and that the contemplation of them was intended to be directed toward the areas in which they existed. The higher school of Tantra, however, makes a very interesting statement which we made in the book years ago, but did not greatly extend. Namely, that the chakras are actually all of them in the brain. And that what we call the spinal chakras are the reflexes of the brain chakras in the mirror of mind. That the neural system carries the reflexes into various parts of the body, but that the chakras themselves are in the 7 primary caves of the brain. The purpose that he is attempting to achieve is, therefore, to release the energy symbolically represented by this form. By releasing the energy, what he is actually trying to do, whether he realizes or not, is to reverse the process of mental control and restore what might be termed the pure energy, which has been blocked by mental phenomena. Therefore, these 7 seals represent the symbols of 7 blockages, 7 transitory conditions set up by the sensory reflexes of man, resulting in 7 basic mistakes. To overcome these, therefore, he must overcome the instruments of phenomena which he has set up. He is therefore actually attempting to lead the life energy out of the subterranean region in which it has become involved, carry it back again to its own true and proper nature by dissolving one by one the fixations of mind by which this energy is held imprisoned or is held in a highly specialized process. Therefore, the processes of the 7 so-called steps must be redeemed from false use. True use must be established. True use must come through realization. And here, within the structure of mind, we find a contrary system established by means of which mind gradually overcomes itself. It is all part of the same process, inasmuch as your yogic system must end in samadhi. It must end in the Buddhist nirvana. It must end in the total release of true consciousness from the ego fixation. This is represented in the Eastern system by the final victory of Atman, the universal, the one which alone is real, and man's ability to achieve union, which is the true meaning of the word yoga. Union with the infinite, union with that which is unconditioned. Therefore, it is not right to assume that the chakras can be anything more nor less than the 7 steps for attaining victory over illusion.
What's going on in terms of the land in ourselves? This is our head, head of knowledge, and it's symbolized by Aries, sign of Aries. Put that sign like that. Well, in order to do things right, we have to humble the pride of our thoughts, or pride of our ego. Oh, I'm great! I've got a fantastic idea. Well, if you want to be king, or ruler of something, I'm going to be ruler. Ha ha! You've actually got to remember, no, humble it. The perfect king is the perfect servant of the people. To be king, you have to be the servant. And so it's called sacrifice of the Lamb of God. The Lamb of God is this ram. Sacrifice the Lamb of God. It falls to the feet in humility. And that has the power to raise the central energy called the Kundalini, central dragon energy. It can only be raised through this humility, this sacrifice in love, in service, act of love. And that will raise the central Kundalini. That's the only energy that will go into the heart chakra and straight from the heart up through the other chakras, into the crown, open the crown chakra, and you're in that state of illumination. So until that offering, that sacrifice is done, you never reach illumination. Simple as that.
And where is this family from?
I'm from England.
You're from England. And what is your last name?
Henry.
Henry. Would you like to give your first name, starting with the young lady to the far left? Your right.
Diana.
Diana?
I've always wanted to know, to understand the Bible. And I wanted to know about the 7 seals. And I met somebody who can show me the 7 seals. I asked my pastors, my ministers. I was a former Seventh-day Adventist. Nobody could show me. And now I found what I've been looking for.
So you haven't been even slightly disappointed?
Not at all.
Psalms 45 guitar, a lot of people think it's kind of sensual, but no more sensual than the Song of Solomon. For those who have enough nerve to read the Song of Solomon, Psalms 45, the prophecy about the marriage of the Lamb in the latter days. A lot of people, when they read Psalms 45, try to spiritualize it away, but nonetheless, it's one of the seals. It's the first seal, and recaptured and confirmed and verified in Revelation 19. All the prophets talk about this event. Got that, Steve?
Yes.